So next what we have is we can talk about certain things about mains. So in mains there is something unique, that is ethics, and there is a lot of emphasis on ethics. So do you think there is a separate preparation? Obviously separate preparation it is required for ethics, but how to go about it, and what were the challenges, or are there challenges with respect to sources, or should you make notes, or simply read, or did you refer to different sources code of conduct for civil services, because they are also having some genesis in ethics? So how was it?
So for ethics was actually a subject that I really liked, and for that I maintained a separate notebook. That notebook was on my laptop. It was a soft copy, and in that I would keep adding any point that I would get. So firstly you must begin by writing down the syllabus, that is for any and every subject, and then I would add certain aspects. For example, if I get a very good story in the newspaper, then I'll write it down. If there is some nice story about Mahatma Gandhi coming in the news on 2nd October, so then just note it down there. And likewise, I would have a collection of a lot of examples and a lot of stories and a lot of quotations. Everything was ready before the exam. And so my parents used to watch KBC. So wahan pe bhi sir, sometimes you get certain stories, good stories, stories of dedication of successful people. So that can be added in ethics in certain value. For example, dedication mein you can add certain, you can add about Olympics, gold medal, everything that is happening around you, you can make a list of that. And those can be used in your answers in ethics. And you also need to keep revising that. That is what I revised just before the exam also, because basics we can write, but these are the things that actually fetches marks.
Okay. And any sources for ethics? How do you begin? Do you begin with some basic dictionary, or where to begin exactly?
So begin by reading a basic textbook. There are 2-3 textbooks available in the market. Anyone would do. Now, once you have that basic textbook, you've read it, you get the hang of what ethics is actually about. Because ethics is something that we've not read previously. So once you get to know and understand that, okay, this subject deals with this, then you go on to the next step. For example, you've written down the values. You can start by giving an example to every value that you've written down, or a certain story for every value that you've written down. So that way it is a 2-step preparation for ethics.
Okay. And in the beginning you mentioned spectrum, through different spectrums we should bring it in, interconnected
Yes,
approach.
sir.
So for example, history has many figures, prominent figures,
Yes, sir.
ethical figures,
Yes, sir.
and similarly other subjects like international relations might also be talking about some prominent figure. So did you use other subjects for your ethics?
Yes, sir. And just as you were speaking, I actually remembered the history example that I had used. So in one of the mock tests, I think there was a question on if you change yourself, you change things around you. So in that, I wrote the example of Ashoka's Dhamma. So you have so many examples from history as well, and even in modern history, you have so many examples that can be used in ethics any day.
Okay. And these from current affairs, for example, these civil services awards which are given, so
Yes, sir.
they can.
Yes, sir. In this preparation, you always have to be in preparation mode. You must see everything from a point of view of its utility in your examination. So whatever you come across, anything can help you, especially in ethics.
So for case studies, any specific approach that you followed, or what helped you
Yes,
in
sir.
case studies?
So for case studies in the market, there are a lot of compilations available of coaching institutes, for example, 75 case studies which are solved. So we can practice using that. I use that, and after about 5-6 case studies, you actually get the hang of the type of questions that are being asked. And then you focus on practicing it, compare it with the model answer, see if you missed any point, or you started thinking in a completely different direction. And the second aspect is focusing on presentation of the case study. So you must know, for example, for stakeholders, we can make a box diagram, or we can use a flow chart for anything. So presentation is also important.
Okay.